I'll always start with the java.comment. So we're going to remove the card with the given index, and then everything shifts down. Alright, but we know that this is an array we're dealing with, because at the start you can see that we have an array of cards. And so arrays are immutable. So I know right away that I'm going to have to make a new array that's one shorter, and then transfer everything over, because I can't resize it. Only array lists are that cool. Since I'm dealing with an array, that's the puzzle here. I just make it one smaller and then figure out a good loop structure to copy things over. So right away, I can tell that you're missing a line of code, because we've got to create the new array that's one shorter right off the bat. And then you can start a loop, go up until this counter here, and copy all of those cards from the old array to the new array, because everything up until that point is going to be the same. Okay, if we got this array of cards, and I want to make one, and the target location, let's say, is 3, and so that's K. So I just want to get rid of this particular card. That's going to make this one the new 3, and this one the new 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so our first order of business is to create a new card array of length -1, so it'll be one shorter. And then we'll set up a loop going through all of these. You could do this in a couple different ways, but what I might just do is loop through all of the card array, and each time copy over the value, unless it was the target one, in which case don't copy over. You'd have to have two different counters, because the loop that's going through this would have to be different than the index value here, because suddenly you're going to be off when this one doesn't get copied. Instead, this one is copied instead, and you'd have it skip just this one value and not increase the counter that was going up and matching something for this end. Okay, let's recap and tie this into your answer. So the first thing that you need to do is create maybe a new card array, a card array called new cards, and set it equal to a new card array of one smaller than cards is currently. Now you've got to figure out some way to traverse the array and copy the old values to the new array. It has to be a new array, because you can't reduce the size otherwise. And you're going to skip the target that you're given to in the as a parameter. You could loop up until this point in one loop, copying things over, and then start a new loop from one after K until the end, and have a different counter, copying things over. You could have one loop going through the whole thing. And if I, the loop iterator, is equal to K, the parameter, then the index value, that's a separate index, not I, so it's usually following along with I. It goes a new index plus plus each time at the end of this loop. Except if I is equal to new index, then the counter that's pointing here is going to go back one, and so it'll be pointing right here. But then when the loop kicks over and new index plus plus, it'll go back here, and it'll now be new index behind one of I. And so I will keep going from here to here, and new index will be one behind it as a result of this command. And so the copying value when this hits will now be one behind. Oh no, this should be I. This should be I. Will now be one behind of where I is, and so you've made that adjustment, and it will have copied it over, but because it'll be back, it'll overwrite the next time. So that's one possible solution. I hope that helps clarify your confusion around part B of assignment 18.